Hi, my name is Brandon Spencer, and I will be teaching you all how to play my favorite board game, Settlers of Catan. First, we'll start with a little icebreaker name game. So, use an adjective that starts with your same letter of your first name, and something to describe yourself or your personality. So, we'll start with Marky over here.
Maleficent Marky.
And what's your favorite board game?
Monopoly.
Monopoly? Okay.
Magnificent Mackenzie. My favorite board game.
Did you just use the same adjective?
Game of life. No.
What'd you use?
Magnificent.
Maleficent and Magnificent?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be Brilliant Brandon, and my favorite board game is Catan, Settlers of Catan, of course, since we're going over this. What'd you say your favorite board game was? The Game of Life?
Yeah.
Okay. That's an interesting one. Alright, so first we'll go through a PowerPoint, and then we'll do a hands-on demonstration, and you'll have the PowerPoint outline right there, so you'll can either follow along on here or on your outline. So first, Settlers of Catan's title. A little background about Settlers of Catan. It was created by Klaus Tuber and published in 1995 in Germany. This is a multiplayer game, 3 to 4 players. It's a resource and dice-based game. Time duration is an average, takes about an hour. It can be purchased at local stores for around $40 to $50. To play more than 4 people, you have to have an expansion pack.
He's not taking a video of you, he's taking it like close up to that.
That's
thing.
fine. Okay, so the first player to acquire 10 victory points wins the game of Catan. There are a variety of ways to acquire victory points. We will discuss the different ways to acquire victory points as we move through the PowerPoint. Most of the victory points are visible to all players and some are hidden. Once a player declares he has 10 victory points, he must reveal all victory points, which some may be hidden. Next slide. Okay, this is settlement pieces of the board game. So they have settlement houses, cities, roads. Houses are 1 victory point, and settlements are 1 victory point. Cities are 2 victory points. And we got the pictures of roads, settlements, and cities, which you'll see after we open the game. Next slide is resource cards. There are 5 resources in the game that you must collect to build your settlements in order to win the game. You have in order from the pictures brick, wood, sheep, wheat, and coal. And then to the left, you have a little cheat sheet that the game provides, and it lists all the building costs of everything. So a road would be a brick and a wood, and a settlement would be as listed. And we'll go over that more when we open up the game. So next slide. Next slide has to do with development cards. This is the only other cards involved in the game. There's cards that there are 5 different cards: night cards, monopolies, road builders, year of plenty. We'll discuss those as we go through the game as well. Okay, now we have the knight, which blocks a player from collecting resources at a particular target, and it also steals a single resource from a player of the opponent's choice. And we will go over that more detail when we open the game up as well. So there are two ways to acquire 2 bonus victory points. You have the largest road and the largest army, and we will go over that a little more in detail when we open the game up. So the Catan setup, there are 6 border pieces that are needed to set up the game. As you can see in the first picture, the outline of the hexagonal island, as you will, the Catan island. And there's resources that are also hexagonal shaped that'll fit into the border. And they also have numbers on them. So when somebody rolls, whoever has that number, whoever has that settlement, so like this blue, if that blue connects all those numbers, like I roll a 5, whoever that blue piece is gets that 5 resource. And we'll go more into detail about that. Now we'll begin the hands-on portion. The only way to truly understand this game is to play the game itself. So let's get started. Please hold questions to the end after the end of the hands-on portion. And remember, that is the cheat sheet that they provide for you, which is very useful in this game. Alright, I need you back out. So now we'll open up this box. Settlers of Catan, brand new, hasn't been opened. This back has all the pieces and contents labeled to it. And it says ages 10 and up, around 60 minutes, and 3 to 4 players. So we'll open it up and see what pieces we got. See, Mark, it didn't take long to open that. And it also has a QR code on the side of the box, so you can go in and read the rules or whatever else information it has on it. But we're not going to read the rules because I'm going to teach you the rules. Rule book. Little hexagonal pieces. Probably have to open this part up. Yeah, so these are the pieces you have to pop out. There's the numbers here. More resources. Little cheat sheet cards here, and the longest road, longest army. And these are the border pieces that we're gonna have to pop out. So it comes with 2 dice. Need both these dice. And the resource cards and development cards are in here. Little baggies. These are all the roads. And you got all your cities, settlements in here, and also this is the night piece. And that is about it for all the contents. Fits very nicely in here. Part of setting up Settlers of Catan is your hexagonal border pieces. This is the blue pieces. They kind of look like an ocean, a beach, because you're setting up your little island. So we'll have Maleficent Marquis and Magnificent Mackenzie set up the border pieces. Each border pieces will have a number to connect it. So like this will be a 5, a 5, and a 5 will be on there, and you just connect them together. So it's kind of dummy proof like that.
Yeah, that's one of it.
So once the hexagonal piece is ready to go, we're going to put these smaller hexagonal pieces, the resources, in the middle of them. And they should all fit pretty perfectly. Alright, so I'll go over these the 5 resources again. You got the sheep, it's a green pasteurized looking field. You got wood, like green rainforest looking hexagonal piece. Wheat, looks like wheat, yellow, golden wheat. Bricks, kind of got a reddish color to it. And then the final resource is coal, or as I like to call it. And so what I usually do is I put them all face down and I mix them up so that way it's kind of random. And so you flip them over, kind of mix them up together. Let's put this out in the middle. Okay, and I'll let Marky and Mackenzie put them in. I would first start with the sides and then work my way up in the middle. And there's one desert piece I forgot to tell you about. This is just a blank piece. It's not a resource. So, but a number will still. It's called the desert. A number will still go on it. It's where the night piece goes. It begins on the desert. Okay. So you got our board here. The unique thing about this game is not one game is going to be the same because you have all your border pieces. They're gonna be mixed up each game, so it's kind of a different game every game. And this desert piece, like I said, is just a no resource. It's kind of a blank space. And the knight begins the game off right there. And we'll describe what the knight is in a minute. And so the final step of setting up the board, the actual board, is putting numbers on them. There are red numbers here. There's the 6s and the 8s. That means they're the highly probability-wise of rolling. And they also have dots on them, which also indicates the percentage of you rolling that number. So like the 12 and the 2 have the lowest probability, so they'll have one dot on the bottom of them. It's to kind of help you when you're putting your settlements down to know where you want to put your settlements. But we will turn these over as well. And the only really rule for setting up numbers on the resources is I wouldn't have 2 right next to each other, because that will kind of mess up the game a little bit, and you'll understand why as you start playing. Because you don't want 2 high probabilities next to each other. Someone could just take all those resources. And so just mix them all up. Give some of those a Marky so she can put them down. And then give you some, and then just start putting numbers down. And make sure you don't put 2 red numbers next to each other. Okay, so now the board is officially set up, and the only other thing we need to do to begin the game is everyone begins by putting 2 settlements, and I will describe how that's going to work. Everyone will get their little pieces. You got red, blue, orange, and then white here. We're not going to need them because we don't have a 4th player. And there are five settlements. These are little house-shaped looking things. And then the cities, which are a little bit bigger. And then you got the roads. And so we will roll to see who gets to place it first. So I'll just roll. I got a 3. Mackenzie rolled a 2. This is just to see who places the settlement first. And Marky got a 2. So I got the highest number, so I will place my settlement first. So it'll kind of work as a snake-like fashion. I'll put mine on, Mackenzie will put hers on, Marky, and then Marky will get to put her second one on. And then after you put your second settlement, like say this is my second one, whatever's bordering that settlement, you'll take the resources. So like if that was my second settlement, I would take a brick, wood, and wheat resource card from the resource bank over here. And usually you'd like to designate someone to handle all the resources. They're kind of like the banker. And so the only other thing I need to point out is these are ports. At the end of it, you'll see that there'll be either brick, wood, that describes what kind of port it is, or you'll have a question mark. So the question mark is just 3 of any resources for 1. So like if you have a settlement connecting to this port, like right there, or right there would be a port. Once your settlement is there, you can trade two bricks, so that's a brick port. You can trade in two your brick for any one resource card from the bank. And so that really helps you out when you start needing different resources. And you can also trade with other players, but you can only trade when it's on your turn. So like if I want to trade with Marky later in the game, it has to be my turn, and I have to ask Marky to trade for something. It's kind of like Monopoly where you can trade in that sense. And so generally what you like to do is put your settlement connecting to a high probability number. So like I will put mine right here. So I got a 6, 9, and